Yeah, actually, there's a lot of operation that happens amongst officers. The easiest in terms of people getting to know about IP actually is the World Intellectual Property Organization courses. There are courses that are freely available for everybody. You don't have to even be within an IP office or within the IP fraternity. There are introductory courses that you can do for like the DL001 primer introduction to IP is a 3-hour course that anybody can embark on. And the DL101 introduction to IP that's also run by the World Intellectual Property Organization runs for at least 50 hours, which is about 6 weeks. And then you move on to the more advanced courses for IP. As I mentioned, my journey through education, I actually came across IP when I was doing my honors. And throughout the undergrad, for instance, there were no courses that introduced us in academia to intellectual property, but I see that it's changing. And, it was actually with developed curriculum, short learning programs on IP, which is fun program, as well as graduate on IP management. So we are really getting into IP education is we to get it about it and also on everyone's lips in Africa. I like to have I your lip. That's good. Thank you very much, Mavis, for joining us. We've had a very afternoon. This is an impossible question, but tell us about the value of GIs for a developing country. What is it that we can look out for? What is our rural women? What can they do in this area? And what does GI actually mean?
Yes, with pleasure. So geographical indications, these are names based on origin and special tradition of production, and also linked to a specific terroir, to specific origin, and they do have already a certain field reputation. That is what IP then is protecting, this reputation in comparison to other projects, so to other products. So in South Africa, it could be rooibos or honeybush or Kurulam and many others, and of course also wine and spirits. So Switzerland is very much engaged in this field, and we see that generally in our projects, we see a lot of interest in for the protection of GIs. So our projects are generally, like for everyone. We do not have a specific separation, male or female, but sometimes we notice that there are some kind of positive side effects from our projects also for women, and we tried to, of course, to intensify those effects. When we protect, I can just give you a very concrete example. In our cooperation project with Serbia, we had capacity building activities with producers. It was a traditional cheese produced in a very remote mountainous region of southern Serbia, quite a conservative part of the country, far away from the capital, and we were discussing how the description of production of this product, the code of practice, should be defined, because this is required for the registration. And then we had to have it very detailed on paper, and there was a workshop, and we were asking the participants, mostly men, how they actually produce this cheese, how much salt, and how long they bath this cheese, and then actually they said, I don't know, because actually my wife is doing that. And then we have asked, like, well, why is your wife not here. Yeah, like I'm a head of a family, she has to look for kids, and then. So we said, yes, but we need to have this information. So we had to go from house to house and ask those women. And while we were collecting this information, women, they were also noticing that they do work which is valuable, and currently it is not valued. And then we took their products, to labs and restaurants in the capital, and there were excellent feedbacks on the quality of this cheese, and also international trade fairs. And somehow we've seen how more like these women, they felt this more pride and more enthusiasm about what they were doing. And towards the end of the project, we had only mostly women, because they were the main power of this production of this product. We had them, and they were organizing themselves in a producer association. They were making marketing decision, how they collectively can market their product, and then. And for me, this was really a beautiful moment when I have realized that we have capacitated them, but we also have given them a voice. And this protection of the name of this cheese is not just a protection of a name, it's giving value to this incredible labor that they were doing in centuries, in generations, but without appreciation. And that is really a very important element for me. I do not say that protection of GIs is a kind of, panacea or something like this, but I see that especially for the rural areas, this is an important tool to also strengthen women, and to provide them additional income, and just to give additional value not only to product, but also to those who are producing these products. And that's what is also continue to encourage me to stay in this field, and why I think that intellectual property is adequate tool for development.
Yeah, that's actually a phenomenal story, Olga. And I hope one of these days in South Africa we can have the same or similar story to advocate about. Can I jump to you, Susan, talking about phenomenal women? Just to end our program with, I'm going to allow each one of my speakers just to say a few final words. But before we go to that, Susan, you have been involved in teaching in the research and intellectual property areas. You've been involved in women-to-women projects, and a very interesting one, phenomenal women globally. Tell us just shortly, what does this entail, and are there opportunities for our listeners or our participants today?
Thank you. I've been intrigued by what Olga was saying, looking from the perspective of geographic indications. One of the areas where we put emphasis, much as it's work in Africa, it's not geographic indications, but it's very, very important, is copyright, because the emphasis, which is correct, is has been on limitations and exceptions, and I completely agree, and I'm an advocate for that. Book on national copyright law and access to education in developing countries. But as I started, how do we get people to think of the countries so that they can also lead or participate and not just come in as opposing or just followers? And one of the things we are doing for women is to teach those women that are at home or in the villages, or they are considered as just homemakers or home managers, the term that is used, how to look around what we are doing and add value to it, and realize that actually we work on development, and that comes in. I agree with Olga that.
Apologies.
I agree with Olga that intellectual property in itself is not a solution. but it needs to be embraced. So we demonstrate to different women how this can be. So what may look like ordinary craft, ordinary innovations, how they can be branded, how can they be developed and they be sold. So how we add values. There are different tools there that they can be used, but there is a mixture of intellectual property. I want to say it's just I do my trade and I give someone else to take the IP, so that it can lead to economic development. So talking of phenomenon and from women to there are opportunities. What we do here, Phenomenal Women, is we are just collaborate with them by it's an organization founded in Switzerland and also in Uganda, and they do mainly training and yet mainly training. So I have participated in that, training women on just having value in themselves. But from women to women is an open platform. Platform is an understatement. We give services for free, and this I'm calling out women. You type in as a woman who is interested, I say, I have a need here. I want to become an entrepreneur. I have specific struggles around this area. And even in terms of support, to the best of my knowledge, I'm the only one teaching on intellectual property, intellectual property and trade. Different kinds of experts there for free, where women can draw from for free and get better. So that's my work there. I'm just one of the experts, I have to stress. But I want to stress that it is for free, so one shouldn't shy off. How it works, when a woman in need gets on the platform and indicates their needs, and then they are in touch with another person who can provide that mentorship.
That project as well.
Yes.
So we have come to the end of our very nice and interesting discussion. Before, I just want to say that give you some of the speakers just to say a few last words, should they wish to do so. So 58% of Africa's entrepreneurs are women. And that's why we are actually empowering them with this platform this afternoon, as well as giving them the tools to grow their businesses. We would like to see them grow and prosper and utilize the tools intellectual property allows them to utilize. Vanessa, please say a few parting words.
Yeah, the tools that we need. I was saying, Amanda, you were giving out the money earlier. How about just giving some time this side? I think that's what we probably need the most when we're working with it. But, looking at where we've gone and tools, I think the first thing is living in the world we currently are, it's trying to be something other than you are. And I think that, to me, the biggest lesson I've learned is, number one, be true to my own identity. Actually know who you are and where your strengths lie, and don't be anybody else other than the best you that you can be. And be brave. I mean, step out there and be prepared to take chances and risks, and hold a drill and see if you can drill a hole, or, it'll test those boundaries, because that's where you make and learn the most. And just make sure you've got somebody to walk with you along the path.
Yeah. Good. So, you are still muted, my dear.
The joys of this online thing. I just want to bring an example quickly in closing. So in South Africa, we recently had the Constitutional Court, which is the highest court in the land, interviews go on where they were interviewing for the new Chief Justice. And the current president of the Supreme Court of Appeal, who is a woman, was asked how she felt about being a guinea pig. And this was referring to her being the only woman candidate, to which she responded that she's not a good judge because she is a woman. She's just a good woman judge. and that she's only a guinea pig because everyone who nominated her wanted a woman to interview for the job, and that she felt honored that she was that woman to help make the crack in the glass ceiling. And today's session is an example of this, and with all the speakers having spoken, it is clear to me that everyone's not in this IP enforcement space because they are women, but they are women in the IP space, and that we should just continue chipping at that glass ceiling, and in time, with working together, knowledge sharing, and capacity building, the glass ceiling will eventually collapse.
Excellent. Very well said. Thank you, Sibokele. Denise, you have 30 seconds, and I just want to, before I allow you, congratulate you on the award that you have won for us all as women. So you can just briefly mention the Calabash Award. It's a very high award in South Africa for exceptional work that you've done, and then just say a few last words. Thank you, Denise.
Okay, thanks very much, and thanks for the greetings. The Calabash the Chancellor's Award at UNISA, and I won it for the Outstanding Educator. And that's, I think, is partly because I've been educating people on copyright compliance and awareness for many years. I have an online service that's been going since 1998, and I've got over 10,000 people on it, on my current list around the world. Just to say that I think one of the most important things is that we need to increase the educational programs about copyright law and copyright compliance, copyright awareness across our country. I believe that ongoing education across the spectrum and balanced copyright laws are key to compliance in South Africa. If you have a too restrictive copyright law, people are going to just infringe it. But if you've got a balanced one, you can balance the use of material when people know what they can and can't do. So I promote balanced copyright laws and educational programs.
That's perfect. Alexandra.
Yeah, similar to kind of what Vanessa said, kind of on the ground level, be brave. I'm a big fan of quotes. The one that has always stood out was trust in the habits that got you here. So, you know, you've gotten so far, and, you know, there's more out there. And be open to opportunities, even if it's not something that you might have considered before. And then kind of on the overall broader spectrum, as has come up, you know, changing the perspective that IP is inaccessible and really bringing it to the person that there is value in what they have created. And yeah, also mentorship, as we've discussed, has been key, and it can take many forms. I've learned to appreciate the small exchange as well, just over coffee, and yeah, getting tips and tricks there.
Good. Olga, right, over to you.
Thank you, Amanda. There were so many right things said already. So I would just say that additionally, absolutely give it a try, and look for opportunities, look for the right mentors. That's for me the right way to be encouraged and be courageous yourself. I would also say that we very often women they do underestimate their creativity and their possibilities. So for me, that's why it's so important to teach to those creative women how not only to create this, but also to use it, you know, to commercialize this, because like this, they gain more independency and they gain, you know, financial ground, and that is, I think, is very important. And where I see is that women are lacking additional, maybe educational support. Is on how to lead negotiations. We know that for commercialization, sometimes it is difficult, you know, to negotiate with potential buyers and so on. And very often we notice that women are not negotiating in their favor. So I think we need to pay pay attention also in the IP field on how to teach women to do this negotiation in order to empower them, to help them how to better commercialize their creativity, their inventions, and their work, basically. Yes.
Yes, I fully agree with you, Olga. Well said. We have Susan and Prof. Shirley left. Susan, please say a few closing words.
Thank you. The first one I'll say to the women, well, we need to dream. We need to dream. Here we've spoken a lot about copyright and geographic indications and maybe enforcement, but intellectual property is a wide field. Get an edge and dream and go for it. And that's when the mentors and the educators will be useful if you have a dream where you are going. Now, to challenge the women to walk like the Statue of Liberty, just walk with your head high, because quite often, if women are negotiating low incomes, low bad licenses, that self-image that the men can do better, or it's not a place. It's not a place for women, but there is a place for all of us, and we don't have to get that place on the round, but we create it ourselves. So people who are aspiring to get into intellectual property, just first of all, be sure that no one is going to just leave you to take up your place. You have to force yourself and demand it. And just show it. I just gave an example of women in rural areas outside crafts. They're ordinarily considered as just giving free service. Oh, that's their work. Fine. Add value. Look at yourself as one having value, and what you do as value. Then seek out how to brand it, develop it, commercialize, bring out that value.
Very good advice. And this brings us to you, Prof. Shirley, with your bag of money and bag of innovation ideas. Sounds very interesting.
And commercialization of research, just add that one part as well. If you don't have it, just go and buy it in the shop in this that be passionate, and it's not always going to be easy. One needs to persevere. To be where I am, maybe a biotech company, pharmaceutical company, in a male dominant, it's not always been easy, especially as a woman, where there's a black female as well. It's not always going to be easy. But one of the things that I have learned is to persevere. Perseverance is the way to go. And lastly, don't give up. It's not going to be easy. And if it was easy, all of us will be less, all of us will be rich, all of us will be able everything. So it's not going to be easy, so don't just give up, keep on pushing and pushing and pushing. But thank you so much, Amanda, for inviting me. I really appreciate it. And thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah. And on those inspiring words, and reminding you about our latest Miss SA, Lalela Mashwani's #BeReady campaign, because if the opportunities are coming your way, be ready to grab them. So thank you very much for the phenomenal women that joined me this afternoon, and I will see you all soon. Thank you also to the participants, and goodbye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Amanda, for the invitation.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.